Hello and welcome to Mr. Hall's Reader Louds. This is book 6 in the Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol book series, and this one is titled Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol Major Monster Mess. This is part 1. Let's begin. Chapter 1, The Purple Milkshake. When it comes to school cafeterias, I've learned that they are always a mystery. Sometimes they are great, sometimes they are the grossest places in the world. The problem is that you never know which one you'll get until you eat there. See, that's me. Not eating the most horrible food ever. But that all changed when I moved to Curseville. The cafeteria here at Curseville Elementary is one of a kind. The food is excellent, according to my best friend Desmond Cole. Whether it's macaroni and cheese on Monday or fried chicken on Friday, the food always makes him happy. So do the cafeteria workers. They must really like Desmond because they always give him extra food. They even make him special treats. One time, they made him a purple milkshake just for him. I don't know what made it purple, and I didn't ask. Desmond thinks the cafeteria is perfect, but my parents always say, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. That's what I thought about my new cafeteria. It seemed too good to be true. If only I knew how right I was. Chapter 2, Mrs. Trey. It all started on a Monday. We were on our way to the cafeteria and I was carrying my lunchbox. I will never understand why you keep bringing lunch from home, Desmond said. I'm telling you, our cafeteria makes the best food. I like bringing my lunch, I told him. Plus, I really loved my lunchbox. It had a fire-breathing dragon on it. Then Desmond added, well, the food here is way better than anything my parents make. Desmond's parents were really great people. But there was one thing they weren't so great at: cooking. It was no wonder he liked the cafeteria food better. Well, you haven't tried my mom's empanadas, I said. Empanadas were my all-time favorite thing to eat ever since I was a little kid. As soon as we reached the lunchroom, Desmond grabbed a tray and got in line. I followed him and watched as the servers plopped mounds of food on his plate. I had to admit, everything looked really yummy. When we got to the end of the line, we saw Mrs. Trey. She was in charge of the cafeteria. She was also one of the nicest grown-ups at our school. Mrs. Trey sniffed the air. Andres, what's that wonderful smell? That's my mom's empanadas, I said proudly. She puts lots of spices in them. They smell amazing, Mrs. Trey said. You are one lucky boy. I know, I said, smiling. Desmond carried his heavy tray over to one of the empty tables. When he sat it down, it made a loud thud. He had a lot of food. As he dug in, I opened my lunchbox and unwrapped the crescent-shaped pies. They were stuffed full of meat and vegetables. I started to drool as the spicy smell hit my nose. Even Desmond stopped eating to take a whiff. Do you want a bite? I asked him. No thanks, he said. I have more than enough here. he went back to eating. That was when I heard something strange. It sounded like a pair of wings flapping over my head, but when I looked up, there wasn't anything there. Suddenly, Mrs. Trey was right next to me. She took another sniff of my empanadas, then started cleaning up my lunch. It was nice of her, but the only problem was I wasn't finished eating yet. Then she grabbed my empanada, but I held on tight. "Mrs. Trey, I'm still eating my lunch," I explained. With a strange look, Mrs. Trey let go and apologized. Then she marched into the cafeteria's kitchen through a set of swinging doors. As the doors swung open, I thought I saw something. It was a very, very, very hairy arm, and that very, very, very hairy arm was purple. Before I could get a better look, Desmond tapped my shoulder. "Hey, are you going to finish that last empanada?" I said, but it was too late. Desmond reached into my lunchbox and snagged my empanada. I was quick enough to save my food from Mrs. Trey, but I had to be a lot faster to beat Desmond Cole. Chapter 3. I Smell Monsters. The next morning, I was excited to see my dad making a chicken salad sandwich for my lunch. He uses a secret ingredient. He cuts up green grapes and mixes them in. It looks like a regular sandwich until you bite into it. Then it's a sweet and chickeny flavor explosion in your mouth. I couldn't wait for lunchtime. I grabbed my lunchbox, hooked it on to my backpack, and headed to the garage to get my bike. Only I wasn't alone in the garage. Zax was already there. He's the ghost that lives in my basement. Believe me, that's something I never thought I'd say. "Andres, can I ask you something?" Zax said. "Okay, but make it fast," I told him. "I need to get to school." Zax nodded and said, "Have you been hanging out with monsters?" "Me? Andres Medesso? Hanging out with monsters? Ha!" I laughed out loud. "Impossible. There's no such thing as monsters, right?" All of a sudden, I wasn't so sure anymore. I mean, there I was talking to a ghost. Anything was possible in Curseville. What if I had been hanging out with monsters without knowing it? Maybe monsters were really good at hiding. Maybe monsters were able to make themselves look like a regular kid one minute and then change into ugly beasts the next. I don't know. "Zax," I said, "is there a way to know if I've been around monsters?" "Oh, trust me, you would know," Zax replied. "Monsters have a very strong odor. If you haven't smelled anything funny, then you're good." Whew, good. Zax had me worried. But I was not thrilled to know that monsters were real. I climbed on my bike and was about to pedal off when I stopped. "Hey, Zax," I said, "why did you ask about monsters?" "Oh, simple," he said, "because I smell monsters all over you." That was when I fell off my bike. And we will stop right there for this reading of Desmond Cole Ghost Patrol. And until next time, have a great day.